What is up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of me reviewing things that I don't really need. Anyhow, so recently I bought a Books Palma 2. It's an e-reader for those of us who don't know what that is. And it's an e-reader that is probably the size of like an iPhone Pro. All right, so let's imagine that this is not an iPhone; it's a Google Pixel, but it's about this size. I know you probably got an iPhone, so I'm just trying to appeal to you. But whatever, it's not an iPhone. So I bought the device because I wanted to get a gift for my wife. You see how this works? I get her something as an excuse so that I can also get me something. It's a bit selfish, but bear with me. So I buy her this because my wife is probably one of the most dedicated readers I know. It's a bit nerdy, and I'm also envious of her because she can read through books in like a day. Sometimes I look over her shoulder and watch her read, and then I comment like, "Bruh, you're not really reading those pages that fast. Like chill out. You just showing off with all those taps and swipes to get, to the next page." Anyhow, so I thought this would be perfect. I get her the smaller device so that she can carry it on the go. I also wanted to get myself one because I thought maybe this would inspire me to also be a reader. And the reality is, I don't have the device anymore for a reason. So let me give you some context. I currently own a Kindle. This is probably a Kindle Paperwhite. I also own the Kobo Libra because it has the nice turning buttons like the old Kindle Oasis. And then I also had bought the Books Palma. And my idea was that maybe if I had something that I could keep with me all the time, I too would become just as good of a reader as my wife. Reality check is it's not true. And I watched all these videos again because I do a lot of research on these items, and people were selling me on why it was the perfect e-reading device. And so I tried it, and they sold me on two things. The two things that they sold me on was one, the fact that it was open, right? You didn't have to just get books from Amazon or the Amazon conglomerate. So you weren't locked into their ecosystem. And it runs on Android. And so you could also download other apps. And I used to subscribe to a subscription called Scribed that had a library of audiobooks and e-reading books. And I always thought, hey, this would be great if I could read these on my Kindle and not my phone because I do like the e-ink display. And I think for me, the only appeal to having the Books Palma 2 was that e-ink display. Otherwise, the reality is, although it opens you up to other options, look, I'm subscribed to Kindle Unlimited. I get my books on Kindle. I use Libby or Overdrive to get them from my library. And those are really the only two places I personally get my books. And I could get those on those devices, and I could also get those things on my cell phone. People still say cell phone? My cellular device. Anyway, I could still get it there. And so one of the cool things that I like about the Kindle app versus the Kindle is that you can do an accessibility feature where you can have it read the words to you. And sometimes I like to feel like I am in high school again. and I'm waiting on my turn to get picked on to read. But in the meantime, I get to follow along while someone else reads. I don't know. Sometimes I want to look at the words and see that they're highlighted and then hear them as well. It enforces it reinforces this learning, because now I'm not only seeing it visually, I'm hearing it. And so I feel like I can comprehend the text and the words more. Although the voice that is used is very robotic, and nowadays in this age of AI, we should be able to do a better job with that. But I'll take it for what it is. So that was cool. I was like, oh, on the Books Palma, I could do that. And I also have e-ink. But the Books Palma is not a cheap device. It is about 300 American dollars, which is quite expensive compared to a Kindle or even this Kobo Libra. $300 for an ebook is a pretty price. And again, the only benefit for me is that it's e-ink. That is the only difference between that and my phone. And then you're sold on its portability and its ability to be carried around with you while you're out in the world, and if you want to just read, which is a great selling point, but unnecessary, right? Because look at this. Let me show y'all. Here's the Kindle, and here's my cell phone, right? Look at the size. Sure, it's slightly bigger, and this won't fit in my pocket. But if I'm really going to bring a device where I'm going to read extensively, I can throw this in a bag. For my wife personally, she could throw this in her purse. I carry a man bag. I could just slide this in my man bag. So I didn't really need a second device. And yes, having another device this size would have been great. But I'm also now carrying two devices in my pocket, and I hate carrying this one device in my pocket. So that was not a sell for me. So I talked to my wife and I told her, hey, I'm going to send mine back. You can keep yours. And she said, well, you can send mine back too, because currently I haven't had a chance to play with it because she had a library book that was due. So she disconnected from Wi-Fi so that she didn't have to turn it in. I shouldn't be telling y'all all my wife business like this. And so she just hadn't had a chance to play with it because she didn't want things to sink in her to lose the library book that she could probably just recheck out. I don't know why she does these things. So I told her my reasons, and she said, yeah, I mean, she also has a Kindle, and she was like, I could just also just put this in my bag. It was a nice gesture. Thanks, hon. So there's my review. If you're looking for an e-reader, and it's the only e-reader that you get, the Books Palma 2 might be a great option if it's your only e-reader and you're looking for something that's portable and you don't mind reading on a screen that is about 6.2 inches. But if you already have an e-reader and you are looking for a companion while you're on the road and you don't want to bring your at-home e-reader, honestly, if e-ink isn't a big selling point for you necessarily, then just read the Kindle app. Just download the book on Libby and read it on your phone. You get a couple pages in or a couple books in. I don't know how fast you read. Either way, save yourself $300. Get a couple Kindles for that price. No disrespect to Boox. I think it's an innovative product. I just don't think it was right for me. This has been another review of things I don't really need. Appreciate y'all being here. Catch you in the next one.